Newmarket. With a population of 94,215 residents, is a town and regional seat of the regional municipality of York in the Canadian province of Ontario. It is part of Greater Toronto in the Golden Horseshoe region of southern Ontario. The name stems from the fact that the settlement was a new market, in contrast to York as the old market. The town was formed as one of many farming communities in the area, but also developed an industrial center on the Northern Railway of Canada's main line, which was built in 1853 through what would become the downtown area. It also became a thriving market town with the arrival of the Metropolitan Street Railway in 1899. Over time, the town developed into a primarily residential area, and the expansion of Ontario Highway 400 to the west and the construction of Ontario Highway 404 to the east increasingly turned it into a bedroom town since the 1980s. The province's official plan includes growth in the business services and knowledge industries, as well as in the administrative, manufacturing, and retail sectors. Landmarks include Upper Canada Mall, South Lake Regional Health Center, the Main Street Heritage Conservation District, and Wesley Brooks Conservation Area, locally called Fairy Lake Park or Fairy Lake. Newmarket's location on the Holland River enabled travel between Lake Ontario and Lake Simcoe. A portage route, the Toronto Carrying Place Trail, ran one of its two routes up the Holland River through the Newmarket area and over the Oak Ridges Moraine to the Rouge River and into Lake Ontario. A more widely used route ran up the western branch of the Holland River, over the Moraine, and down the Humber River. In 1793, John Graves Simcoe traveled the trail northward along the main route to the west, and south to York, now Toronto, along the lesser-used eastern route through Newmarket. Selecting the eastern route as the better of the two, Simcoe started construction of Yonge Street along the former trail in late 1795, starting in York in Toronto Bay and ending at the newly named St. Albans Holland Landing, north of Newmarket. Early settlement. Quakers from the 13 colonies moved to the area to avoid violence they were expected to take part in during the American Revolution. In June 1800, Timothy Rogers, a Quaker from Vermont, explored the area around the Holland River to find a suitable location for a new Quaker settlement. He, Samuel Lundy, and their group of Religious Society of Friends received the grant of 8,000 acres, 3,200 tawotai around the Holland River. In 1801, Rogers returned along with several Quaker families who had left their homes in Vermont and Pennsylvania and settled here between 1801 and 1803. Joseph Hill constructed a mill on the river, damming it to produce a mill pond today known as Fairy Lake. The settlement of Upper Yonge Street developed around the mill and the Holland River. Hill also built a tannery north of the mill, the first general store and house, and additional mills. Newmarket was incorporated as a village in 1857 with a population of 700, with Donald Sutherland as the first reeve. In 1858, Robert Simpson co-opened Simpson Trent Groceries, Boots, Shoes, and Dry Goods in downtown Newmarket, the first store in what would become the Simpsons department store chain. In 1880, Newmarket became a town with a population of 2,000. William Kane was elected as the first mayor. Some years later, his sash and door factory would become the first Canadian manufacturer of lead pencils, the Dixon Pencil Company. In 1869, the population was 1,500, and a gazetteer described Newmarket as one of the most flourishing villages on the Northern Railway line. In addition to the train, stagecoaches were available to nearby communities. By the time of the 1871 census, the population was 1,960, and by 1881, it had increased to 2,006. An elementary school and a high school were already in operation by then. For much of the 20th century, Newmarket developed along the east-west Davis Drive axis, limited to the area between Yonge Street on the west and between Bayview and Leslie Street in the east, and running from just north of Davis on the north to the Fairy Lake area on the south. By the 1950s, Newmarket was experiencing a suburban building boom due to its proximity to Toronto. The population increased from 5,000 to 11,000 between 1950 and 1970. The regional municipality of York was formed in 1971, increasing the size of Newmarket with land from the township of East Gwillimbury, from the township of King, and from the township of Whitchurch. The construction of Upper Canada Mall at the corner of Yonge Street and Davis Drive in 1974 started pulling the focal point of the town westward from the historic downtown area along Main Street. By the early 1980s, the historic downtown area suffered as most businesses had built up in the area around Upper Canada Mall, with additional strip malls developing directly across the Yonge Street/Davis Drive intersection to the south and southeast. A concerted effort to revitalize the historic downtown area during the late 1980s was successful. More recently, a $2.3 million investment was made by the town in 2004 in streetscaping and infrastructure improvements to roads and sidewalks in the historic downtown. The historic area of downtown's Main Street is once again a major focal point of the town. The arrival of Highway 404 reversed the westward movement, pulling development eastward again and surrounding the formerly separate hamlet of Bogarttown at the intersection of Mulock Drive and Leslie Street. Since then, Newmarket has grown considerably, filling out in all directions. The town limits now run from Bathurst Street in the west to Highway 404 in the east, and from just south of Green Lane to just north of St. John's Side Road, taking over the former hamlet of Armitage at Yonge Street south of Mulock Drive. The southern boundary of the town is contiguous with Aurora to the south. Armitage was the first settlement of King Township, named in honor of its first settler Amos Armitage. He had been recruited by Timothy Rogers, a loyalist from Vermont, who in 1801 had traveled along Yonge Street and found the area appealing, and so applied for and received a grant for land totaling 40 farms, each of 200 acres, 0.8 km². Other defunct communities once located within the modern boundaries of Newmarket include Garbutt's Hill, Paddytown, Petchville, Pleasantville, and White Rose. The town's council includes a mayor, 7 councilors elected on the basis of 1 per ward, and a regional councilor who is elected to join the mayor at meetings of York Regional Council. The town offices are located at 395 Mulock Drive, which is the 5th location for the offices. Purchased as an abandoned factory in 1995, it was opened in 1996. The location was found after years of unsuccessful attempts to purchase the Tannery Mall, 465 Davis Drive, or Office Specialty Factory, near 543 Timothy Street, C1912, and now mostly demolished. The York Regional Police is the primary police agency in Newmarket. Ontario Provincial Police patrol on provincially maintained highways in Newmarket, like Highway 404. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police North Toronto Detachment is located in Newmarket. Newmarket is connected to Toronto by highways. It is served by 2 interchanges, Davis Drive as well as Vivian Road, Mulock Drive, along Highway 404 and connected to Highway 400 via Highway 9. Local public transit is provided by York Region Transit, which operates the Viva Blue Bus rapid transit route from the Newmarket Bus Terminal to the Finch Bus Terminal in Toronto. YRT Viva has built the Davis Drive Rapidway along Davis Drive between Yonge Street and South Lake Regional Health Center, with fully separated bus-only lanes and Center Street Station platforms for their Viva Yellow service. The bus travels in mixed traffic between South Lake Regional Health Center and Highway 404. The project was completed on November 29, 2015. Commuter rail is provided by Geo Transit through the Newmarket GO station, with service south to Toronto and north to Barrie, with 5 trains each direction during rush hour. Regular bus service is also operated by Geo Transit, with service operating between 5 a.m. and 2 a.m. The town has many trails, the most useful of which is the Tom Taylor, which extends from the border of Aurora on St. John's Side Road all the way north through downtown and down into Holland Landing in the town of East Gwillimbury. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.